Welcome everyone to the Detours Ahead webinar for 494 construction through 2030. Next slide, please. A recording of this webinar and the slides will be emailed to you within 10 days, and we will answer questions after each of the presentations. And to submit your question, please use the Q&A tool. Or if you're viewing this after we've had our live webinar, you can email Kate Meredith, and her email is noted on this slide. And we're asking people to please refrain from using the chat option. Next slide. 494 Commuter Services is the outreach program of the 494 Quarter Commission, and the commission is a joint powers organization established in 1986 to address concerns about increasing traffic congestion along 494. And our member cities include Bloomington, Eden Prairie, Edina, Minnetonka, and Richfield. And a couple fun facts: there are more jobs in this section of the 494 quarter than both of the downtowns combined. And according to the Metropolitan Council, people from 85 out of Minnesota's 87 counties travel this section of 494 every day. Next. We have two presenters today. The first is Rachel Broughton. She is one of MnDOT's construction managers overseeing the bridges, walls, and other structural elements on the 494 design build project. Rachel is a graduate of the University of Minnesota with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. She has worked at the county, state, and federal level in various roles, including design, project management, and program management. And our second presenter is Kate Meredith, Vice President of Commuter Services. She leads the employer outreach program for us, and she is a long-standing member of the Association for Commuter Transportation. Next slide. So now I'm going to hand it over to you, Rachel. Take it away.
Yep. Hello, my name's Rachel Broughton. As she said, I'm one of the project engineers for MnDOT out on the 494 design project. Tim Klein used to do these presentations. He has been promoted, and we've kind of switched out some staff, so I can do them now. So a couple of things I'm going to talk about here. The 494 Project 1, which is ongoing now and finishing up construction this year. We do have a Project 2 coming right behind it, hence the construction till 2030. We'll give a couple updates on the I-494 River Bridge and a couple other projects that will be going on in the general area in the next coming years, and then share some project contacts and communication information. So Project 1, project update. So this is kind of an overall scope of the entire project on a map. Some of the big things that we were aiming to do is to widen out the roadway between Highway 100 and 35W to add an easy pass lane. We also replaced all the mainline pavement through that section that was getting a little old. We replaced a number of bridges. Actually, there are 14 bridges in this project total over various years. You can see on the map Nicollet, Portland, and 12th. We needed to widen that out because in Project 2, we are going to build the easy pass lane through there. And we did a lot of bridges and work at that 35W 494 interchange too. The overall goals of this project, just those high level goals, are to improve safety, traffic flow, to smooth and extend the life of the pavement, improve drainage, and improve bicycle and pedestrian accessibility, especially in that Nicollet, Portland 12th area. So progress we've made. This is a picture from late March. This is Nicollet Avenue Bridge. We demoed out those bridges pretty early, 12th and Nicollet, and we've been building retaining walls, and we're getting going this year already. So as you looked back at that map or you think about that map, again, we widened out and added new easy pass lanes and replaced that mainline pavement. We modified the interchanges at Penn and 82nd. If you've driven through there at Penn Avenue, the eastern ramps are now braid bridges. They go over the 494 35W ramps, helps ease congestion, helps move along so you don't have that merging in and out in the same location. We also did that at one of the ramps at 82nd Street. We did some major repairs on the France Avenue Bridge over 494, and we did some at Penn Avenue also. There's a nice pedestrian bridge now at Chicago Avenue. We opened that up early 2025. Last year, one of the big pushes was replacing and building the new interchange at Portland Avenue. Also, late last year, we closed Nicollet ramps and 12th Avenue ramps. This was intentional. We want to funnel all of that traffic onto Portland now. And again, it's kind of to remove that quick merge where that aux lane comes on an on-ramp and then jumps off really fast. We've now spaced out those interchanges a little bit better. So Portland Avenue really got a good revamp and upgrade. There's added turn lanes, wider pedestrian facilities, and a little bit of access control, um, closing off some of the median, not allowing left turn lanes before and after the signals. And then we also did a major rebuild of the I-35W 494 interchange, and that's shown a little bit better on the next slide. I love that we take drone photos occasionally, so we get these really nice aerial pictures. But this is, I think, around October, November. This is 35W 494. We're looking northwest, and you can see one of the big improvements is this big turbine ramp, is what we call it. It's for 35W northbound to go to either 494 westbound or eastbound. And it really took out this merging at the cloverleaf underneath here. And so it's this nice big swooping around, lets you go high speed and really sorts out some of that congestion and some of those ramp movements. So a whole lot of work's been done. I mean, this project's been going since 2023, but we still have some things to wrap up in 2026. We're about 80% done is kind of what we're looking at for construction, so 20% left to go. Um, As I've kind of mentioned, replacing the Nicollet Avenue and 12th Avenue bridges over 494 are kind of the big pushes this year, at least in my world in structural. Again, we got going very early this season, so those are already in the works. We're finishing up pile driving right about now. We're going to finish off some work at Portland Avenue. Again, majority of the work is done, but we do have some ADA, some bike and ped to do yet, final grading and turf establishment. Um, what else? Pavement marking, a couple little things need to be cleaned up there. That's going to be one of the priorities early on in the season. So you'll see some work out there. Um, we have a right turn lane on westbound American Boulevard to northbound Lindale that we need to reconfigure. So there will be some significant work in that location. American Boulevard between Highway 100 and France Avenue. This is on the south side. We have been doing work throughout there, but we did not get a full reconstruct done. We want to reconstruct that whole section, and we've got about half to go. So you're going to see some major impacts there. East Bloomington Freeway, so this is right around the 82nd and 35W interchange on the east side. We have to wrap up some work there. Again, we got mostly done last year, but there's still a little bit left to do. And then 78th near Computer Ave. So this is down by Highway 100 on the north side. We got a bunch of retaining walls built over the winter, but we need to finish up that frontage road, and that work is happening right now. So you're going to see some traffic impacts, of course. It's construction. Mainline traffic impacts shouldn't be this bad this year. Again, we got that mainline pavement done, so there's not going to be any of those huge shifts from like eastbound being put back onto westbound. But you're still going to see little impacts here and there, especially with mainline, the Nicollet Avenue Bridge and the 12th Avenue Bridge. You've probably seen it already. We push traffic out to be able to get to the pier and do work and build the brand new pier for the new bridge, and we'll push them in to do the abutment work. So you'll see some shifting there. Um, we do intend, though, to keep 3 lanes in each direction open during daytime hours. So that is the intention. Otherwise, you're going to see little bits and pieces get finished up on these frontage roads. So you'll have impacts here. Again, this is at Computer Ave 78th. We're finishing that up. There is a closure there. Um, Below that, I think you guys can see my arrow, between Highway 100 and France, we're hoping to do 1 lane, one directional through here. That's going to be starting soon. We got a couple of ramps we're going to have to shut down for a couple of weeks. You see those at France, Penn, and Lindale. The 82nd Street at Penn, that intersection got reconfigured in anticipation of this project, and we're going to do some work to put that back together and to upgrade it towards the end of this project. Penn Avenue will stay open, but we are going to close 82nd for a couple of weeks to do some storm sewer work there. That right turn lane at American and Lindale is kind of highlighted. I expect a lane closure. I don't know if there's going to be anything too big there. And then at least for the local system, you've probably already seen the impacts of Nicollet and 12th. The bridges are taken out and they will be opened up back up this fall with new bridges. So you're probably seeing a lot of traffic diverting to Lindale and Portland right now. So we're still going to have lane closures and ramp closures. There's going to be a little bit more overnight work too, where we try to just do lane closures, but there could be directional full closures of 494. Um, Noisy work, we are always cognizant of it, and we try really hard not to do nighttime noisy work, but it is going to happen, and we do try to send out preemptive notice of that. For the most part, though, it should be regular construction noise. And then again, yeah, Nicollet and 12th Avenue is closed through fall. So of those, the ones that are coming up really, really soon is that Penn Avenue ramp to westbound. We are closing that on Monday, hopefully for 1 to 2 weeks. We got a couple items to finish up there with the noise wall. Um, we are also closing 494 eastbound to France Avenue for 2 to 3 weeks, finish up some pavement work, some barrier, as long as we can get the pavement crews. So with all of these closures, we are going to try to give as much notice as we can, but knowing that these are little pieces of work and different locations, if we get rained out, that could really push crews being able to get from one location to the next as they jump. And if they finish something up early, they're going to probably try to get into the next area early. So know that these are all always kind of moving. But so as I'm talking about the I-494 eastbound to France, hopefully next Monday our paving crews will be ready to go and get in there. One of the big impacts coming up is that we are going to close American Boulevard at Nicollet for a weekend. Now, we did this with Portland Avenue last year, and it is a big impact to the local system. We are hoping to go at noon on Friday. So, again, that can disrupt the evening commute, but that really helps us get some of the noisier work done during the day. What really is happening is we're doing a storm sewer run through there and we need to open up the road. And as we are removing pavement and kind of jacking that all out and possibly removing old storm sewer, that gets really noisy when you're breaking up concrete. So we're trying to get all that work done during daytime hours so we don't disrupt the apartments and the homes in the area. And then, as I mentioned, at 82nd, just east of Penn, we're going to have that closed for about 4 weeks as we replace storm sewer in that area. So those are the big items that are left for project one. Of course, there's little pieces of work all over, and we'll be jumping around and finishing buttoning that up. But then right behind it is the 494 project two. We're currently in our procurement stage, so we're getting a contractor on board. They should be on board next spring, 2027, and then we're going to hit the ground running. These are design build projects, so we give the contractor the whole project to design. So we're not expecting a ton of work in 2027, um, but they get to choose. So if they can get going, they'll get going. So some of the significant pieces of work for project two is while we have replaced mainline pavement and widened out for easy pass lane between 35W and 100, we now have to do that from 35W to Highway 77. And as in project one, like I said, we replaced a lot of these bridges like Nicollet, Portland, and 12th. We were able to widen that out to allow for the roadway to now widen for an easy pass lane. So that's kind of what's going on and kind of the order and significance there. So that is going to happen in project two. We will replace mainline pavement and we're going to widen 494 to accommodate an easy pass lane. Um, we have 5 bridges in project two. There's 2 that are Highway 77 over 494. There is a railroad bridge between Lindell Avenue and Nicollet that was not done in Project 1, so that's going to be replaced. At 82nd Street and 35W, we only did one of the braid bridges. We're going to do the other one on the western side. And then 82nd over 35W is going to be replaced. So that's going to be shut down for a season. And as always, in most of these projects, when we get in these corridors and do major work, we're going to improve drainage and update landscaping and lighting, signing, everything else, pavement marking that we can get done while we're in there. So there's a couple other projects in the area, and I know it's going to make traffic kind of hard, but one of the other big ones coming up is Highway 77 Cedar Avenue. This is my route home, just to tell you, so I am carefully watching this project. But this one includes some significant bridge repair work up at the bridges that go to the Mall of America and all of those ramps, kind of those flyover ramps. You're going to see repair and resurfacing on those, along with the River Bridge, Highway 77 over the Minnesota River. Let's see, this is not my project, but this one is starting this summer. So July though, so it's kind of a mid-summer start. I don't know how much work they're going to get done in 2026, probably crossovers and some smaller things. And it goes till June 2028. Another big piece of this is that there is going to be a pavement resurfacing project on Highway 77, starting at the river and going all the way down to Apple Valley. There is bituminous or asphalt along with concrete, and the concrete work takes a while. So that's probably why the project is so long. You're going to see some ADA improvements at these interchanges at the tops of those ramps. They'll be updating drainage and they'll be widening some of the ramps. But let's end on some good news. I-494 River Bridge, so this is the bridge over the Minnesota River. This has been going on for the last 2 years, I believe. It's about rounding out. So again, some of the goals of this project was to improve safety, repair and extend the life of that bridge, provide a smoother surface. The major piece of this work was an overlay and improve the drainage. And again, final year, very minimal traffic impacts this year. Really what they have to wrap up is striping on a lot of the ramps and main lines. So these things will be done as overnight closures for the most part of the little ramps. I'm not sure about mainline. Otherwise, there's some work to do under the bridge with some of the drainage off of the bridge. And I think there's a trail down there, but not much work. So there shouldn't be too much impact. This should wrap up quite nicely early this year. Here's a couple pieces of information for if you're looking for information, updates. You can call the hotline if you see something or if you have questions, very specific questions. You can sign up for project emails. Again, when we do these ramp closures and stuff, we try to give notice through there. But again, keep in mind dates change. And 511 too. Myself and my counterpart, Brian Tomasoni, are the ones updating 511 for this project. So you will get good updates off of there because we are in meetings daily. Like our whole job is this project, so we are very up to date on it. So any questions on that? And I'm not
So
sure
Jill,
who's
good
routing these.
presentation. So we did have a few questions come in, and I would recommend to our attendees, if you have a question, you can type that in right now into the Q&A. There was one question that came in through chat, and we'll get to that as well. But we'll start with a technical question. It says, with the left turn options removed on Portland, how do we get to the west side from northbound? Or to the east side from southbound, like Winter Gas or Carry Unit north of 494 from southbound Portland.
You're going to have to go down, and I'm not sure if U-turns are allowed, but that or going around the block, unfortunately. We've increased traffic so much on Portland now that waiting for those left turns is just going to be significant congestion, and it's going to be hard to find gaps in order to get into those areas. So those have been closed off.
And then we have another technical question. What is the long-term plan for northbound 35 to Penn Avenue or Penn Avenue to southbound 35? And then there's another question in there, but first, if you want to answer that one.
So the plan is that those movements have been closed off. So if you're taking like Penn Avenue to eastbound 494 and hoping to jump right onto 35W South, that movement has been closed. When they looked at this area and did the traffic analysis, they had something called the box, When you look at Penn Avenue, Lyndale, 82nd, and I believe it is 76th. So the expectation is that if you wanted to make that movement from Penn to 35W southbound, that you would continue down Penn and take 82nd and jump on at the 82nd interchange. And so any of those braid ramps too, the expectation is to stay on the local system and route around to get to where you can go because we have closed those off because of the congestion and the accidents that happen there.
And I've heard that those closures are permanent.
Yes, yep. These are the braid ramps. So I mean, we have literally built bridges over that other ramp, so you cannot access it.
Very good. Um, a comment about that area. It says the 82nd and 90th ramps are dangerous for the amount of traffic they're handling and the roads are deteriorating quickly.
So if this is 82nd and all the other ramps, that's going to be in project two, at least if we're talking about pavement deterioration. Again, we're going to have a braid ramp on that western side, so that is 35W south to 82nd, if that is the safety concern. Otherwise, we will be updating the pavement and lifting that bridge and reconstructing that bridge so that on top of it, it's more accommodating for traffic. 90th is beyond our project limits, but I take that sometimes. I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay, we have a bike related question. I recently moved to East Ridgefield and I work in Bloomington. Is there a recommended crossing? Sorry, is there a recommended crossing for biking across 494 while 12th and Nicollet are under construction? Should we try to cross on Portland or do we have to go over to Penn?
No, so yep, 12th Avenue had that really nice pedestrian bridge that was separate. I believe it is a Three Rivers Park trail system too. So this is why we built the Chicago Avenue pedestrian bridge. It is all ramps, there are no stairs, and you are able to bike over it. It crosses over by Walmart then, and that's what I would recommend for a biking across 494.
Thanks, Rachel. Another question. What exactly are they doing at 77 and 494 with that interchange?
Is that okay? Highway 77 and 494.
Yes.
Um, So project two, we're going to be redoing the bridges, and then there is that counter project to the south that's going to be reconfiguring some of those ramp bridges, not reconfiguring, sorry, resurfacing some of the ramp bridges and repairing. There are no significant changes that I know of geometrically, like none of the ramps are moving or anything. It's just going to be pavement and bridge repair.
Sounds good. Another question says, can you tell us what weekends 494 from Highway 100 to Highway 77 will be closed?
So we aren't anticipating pretty much any more full weekend closures. We had the two earlier on in order to demolish the bridges at Nicollet and 12th. We may have one at the very end of the season in order to get our traffic fully switched and final on the corridor. So there is a possibility for one in like August or so. Um, Otherwise, we are going to have some overnight directional closures to set the beams for the new bridges at Nicollet and 12th, but there's maybe one more full weekend closure for our project.
Okay. Another question. On northbound 35W, the ramps feeding from 82nd, 494 westbound, 494 eastbound, and 76th are all so tight together. Is anything more going to be done to ease the merging?
Okay, so 82nd, then the loop ramp, then 76th. There's nothing significant that I'm aware of. I know we are replacing that pavement on 35W in the future. So in project two, so we will be looking at the length that you have to merge before that lane closes, the on-ramp. Otherwise, creating the turbine and getting rid of that 35 or the northeast loop was the significant change. I don't think we're doing anything else huge there.
Okay, thank you. So far, those are the only questions that have come in. And so you can still ask questions and we'll return at the very end of the webinar for Rachel and Kate to answer additional questions. But now let's turn it over to Kate Meredith from Commuter Services. And Rachel, could you advance the slide?
Okay, thank you so much, Melissa and Rachel. Lots of great information. Lots to look forward to this year and the coming years. So I'm going to go through some of the free sustainable commute resources that's available for employers, commuters, and residents. Next slide. So Commuter Services is very happy to host a commuter fair. We just need a table. Basically, it's an open house style event, usually over lunch in the lunch hour or high traffic area at your work site, where we're just available to answer questions and provide resources for your employees to look into their commute options besides driving alone. We also can send you an e-fare, so send you a link to our website and describe our free resources, and you can send that out. And we also can host a lunch and learn or seminar about various topics, maybe just about the resources and programs that are available for your employees, or it can be on construction or another specific topic. We promote Try It campaigns through commuter services such as Bike Month in May, and I'll go through more of that later. We also can provide customized communication for your company newsletter, internet post, blogs, or direct email blasts. We can provide resources and information for new hires. Often a great time to reach commuters is when they're starting a new commute, to let them know what their options are for that new work site before they get too comfortable with their drive alone commute. We encourage employers to sign up for both our quarterly employer newsletter as well as our monthly commuter newsletter. And we can offer a display of printed materials, including the bus schedules that serve your work site. We're happy to provide any amount of displays for you for that. And next slide. So we have a wealth of bicycle commuting resources and strategies for employers. You can offer a lunch and learn or webinar about how to bike to work, and we help facilitate that. It's always great to provide showers and lockers if you can. Providing indoor and covered bike parking is a great amenity as well. Even if you have outdoor bike parking, that's wonderful too. Many companies offer bike repair materials, bike repair stations, or even a room like that picture in the slide that has tools for fixing minor issues, tire pumps, and such. And then we encourage employers, if you can, to purchase bikes that employees can use over lunch for errands or for exercise. It eliminates the need to have your car at the work site if you have a way to run around over lunch. Commuter Services can provide free bike commute resources and bike trail updates. I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then we have a demonstration bus bike rack we can bring to your work site so your employees can learn how to put their bike on a bus bike rack in a no stress environment. It's really easy. In about 3 minutes, commuters, get it, and then that eliminates that barrier of a multimodal commute where they can bike and take transit as well. Next slide. We have bike commuting resources for commuters as well. So we track when there are detours and closures of bike trails in our area. And especially in the summer and spring months, we send that out to the email distribution list so that you know what's coming up, and you can put yourself on that list. You can watch on-demand bike to work commuting webinars. We have several of those on our YouTube channel. And then again, we can bring the bike rack to your work site. We have a bike commuting guide with tips for riding in traffic, the Hennepin County bike map, clothing recommendations so you know what to wear in different weather conditions. And then we have a winter bike commuting guide, which is really helpful as well if you're ready to extend your season and think about biking in the cooler months. Next slide. So we have transit resources for employers as well. We can help companies learn about and enroll in the MetroPass discounted Transit Pass program, which offers unlimited rides for your workforce and will be an ongoing promotional asset for you as well. We can provide bus and train schedules for your work site, transit maps, rider's guide that's available in multiple languages, and information about the newer Metro Micro service that's on demand. It's a shared ride service that operates in a certain territory in southern part of Bloomington. Next slide. And we have transit resources for commuters, so we can provide anyone who's interested in learning what their transit route is from home to work, a customized printout itinerary with the schedules, plus 2 free ride passes to give it a try. We also have information about the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP. This is a program for lower income residents, and it offers deeply discounted transit ride, $1 transit rides for a year. And we have that brochure in multiple languages. We also have the Metro System brochure, which lists all the different Metro, bus rapid transit, and trains in the system in one brochure, and then it lists how frequently they operate. The transit system map shows everything in the whole system. And then there's a nice feature, Text for Safety, where people can text anonymously about a safety issue on buses, trains, and stations. Next slide. We have commuter information for residential properties as well, and we can tailor it to fit your multifamily property's needs. We can bring out the TAP program information. We offer free displays of printed materials, including bus schedules for your apartment complex. And we have resources in multiple languages as well. We're also a great addition, like a commuter fair. We bring all of our resources and can set up a table at your resident events. And we offer some fun swag too. We also produce a quarterly residential newsletter that has downloadable resources for resident portals, your newsletters, and flyers. And my coworker, Michelle Leonard, oversees the residential program, and that's her email there. Next slide. We also offer carpool assistance for employers, so we can assist in the formation of carpools and van poolers at your work site. We can create maps for employees to see how many people live near them. And we can facilitate meetings to gather employees by home location to help with the formation of carpools and van pools. We manage a program where we offer you a carpool parking sign and register your carpoolers and van poolers. And we kind of take care of that program for you for free. And we have the carpool information again in multiple languages. Next slide. Carpooling for commuters. So we have tips on how to set up a successful carpool. You're going to be matched maybe with people that you might not know, even if it's at your own company. So we have tips on how to set that up and how to deal with certain issues that might arise. There is a free regional carpool matching system. It's confidential. It's easy to use. We send you a link and you can put yourself in the system and collect your matches. There's no obligation to contact the people that you get matched with or to begin carpooling, but it gives you a list of people who you could reach out to. And then many employers offer the preferential parking for carpools that offer a closer spot to the employee entrance. Lots of advantages of carpooling. You can use the HOV lane for free during peak hours with 2 or more riders, and of course, saving money on gas. Next slide. Metro Van Pool is a program of the Met Council, and we assist employers in learning more about the program and facilitating getting van pools formed at your work site. The Met Council provides half subsidy of each van pool each month, and employers can choose to subsidize, but you don't have to. There are tax benefits also for both employers and commuters. Next slide. And then Metro Van Pool for commuters. It's ideal for a longer commute, typically a suburb to suburb commute where there's no transit service available directly. You need just 4 people to start the van pool, including the volunteer driver. The lease agreement is between the primary driver and Commute with Enterprise, and it includes everything needed to operate the van pool. So maintenance, repairs, there's liability insurance, and 24-hour roadside assistance. And it isn't a long-term commitment. You just need 30 days notice to leave the van pool. Next slide. We have try-it campaigns and events throughout the year. These are monthly prize drawings that we encourage commuters to try a sustainable commute. So anything that isn't driving alone, biking, carpooling, walking, telework, carpool. And this month we're celebrating Earth Month. And then next month is Bike Month. And our big prize is an electric bike. So any commuter who pledges to try any mode, it doesn't have to be biking for May, that isn't driving alone just once in May, we'll enter them to win the electric bike. And this gentleman is our winner from last year of the electric bike. Next slide. We also have a program called Twin Cities Telework, which offers free resources for employers, managers, and teleworkers. You can find all of the free resources at tctelework.com. Next. So we have a wealth, a big library, and we keep on adding new materials that include sample hybrid policies, implementation guidance. We have an Ask an Expert feature. We have on-demand webinars that you can access, mental health resources, and we also produce a quarterly telework trends newsletter. Lots of free resources that we encourage you to look into at tctelework.com. Next. More resources. So I wanted to also mention a free program called Guaranteed Ride Home. This offers a safety net for commuters who are traveling sustainably to the work site 3 or more days per week. It provides up to $100 annually, so that in those instances where you have to work late and your carpool partner has to leave the regular time, or you take the bus and you don't have your car at work and you need to leave in the middle of the day for a sick child, any of those kind of instances, you can take an Uber, Lyft, or transit, and then you get reimbursed up to $100 per year. We have this resource in multiple languages as well. I mentioned our newsletters. We have the quarterly or the monthly commuter newsletter, and the quarterly employer and telework newsletters that we encourage you to sign up for. And you can sign up for all of that on our website at commuter.org. So lots of information. I'm very happy to take questions or contact me if you want to learn more about what I talked about today. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. Great information. We did have another question slash comment come in. And if you have a question for Kate or for Rachel, there's still time to enter that into the Q&A. This one says, can you comment on how MnDOT and city coordinate changes? Seems like MnDOT changes make sense for long distance travelers, but it's a mess for local residents who avoid 494 but still need access to local business. I shop at Menards, Home Depot, Sam's, Walmart, Harbor Freight, and it has become a total mess.
Well, how we coordinate with cities, we are in contact with the city engineers of Richfield, Bloomington, and Edina pretty regularly. At least for some of the local roads that we're working on, we did overtake them by commissioner's orders. So as we are doing work on them, MnDOT has the final say, but we do try to work with them and accommodate as much as possible. It's just more impactful for the local roads too to shut them down. It feels like mainline 494, there's so much space and you can shift things around usually to get work done. But um, yeah, heard. I know it's been kind of a mess as we reconstruct some of these local roads.
Thanks, Rachel. Seeing no more questions or comments, then we can end this. And if you, to our attendees, if you think of a question after we have closed out the webinar, you can email that to Kate Meredith, and her, you'll receive a copy of all of the slides and a copy of this webinar through a link that we will email to you afterwards. And we're thankful that you've joined us, and we appreciate your time. And thank you to Rachel and Kate. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.